Good morning. It's about noon here. As I make this video, it's noon on Thursday. So I'll be posting this Friday morning. This is our week number 9 video. A couple things I just want to go back to from the past. First is this lab, where you read the article about COVID and you filled in the blanks, whether or not it was linear or exponential. The very first question says, do most models show COVID-19 growing linearly or exponentially? And the answer to that question very clearly from the article was exponentially. Okay, so keep that in mind when I go to the next question. Number 9 was where you had to write one complete sentence, or at least one. And if it wasn't a complete sentence, I took off points because I had that underlined, and that's important to follow instructions and use proper grammar. But anyway, it said linear and exponential models both continue in one direction forever over time. So in other words, linear models either go up forever or down forever. And the same thing's true for exponential. If it starts up, it goes forever up. And if it starts down, it goes forever down. So linear nor exponentials like change. They can't go from increasing and then decreasing, or they can't begin out as a decreasing graph and then change to an increasing graph. But the question was, if the models are increasing, the graph will continue forever. I said that. If the models are decreasing, the graph will continue down forever. Explain in at least one complete sentence why COVID-19 may have followed a linear or exponential model in the beginning, but over time, these models will now accurately fit the pandemic. I don't know if y'all didn't read the question. I don't know if you're not familiar with COVID in the past year and you're just not reading a lot about what's happening. Maybe you didn't read the article. I'm not sure. But to answer that question correctly, you had to say something about the reason that a linear or exponential model will not forever work for COVID is that because eventually it is going to go down. Okay, so when this started, around March 2020, it just skyrocketed. Okay, so whether you went with an exponential or a linear, they both went up. It went up, 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 up. But at some point in time, with the vaccine and with modern technology, it is going to go down. So therefore, neither one of those models are going to work long term. So that was the answer, some variation of that. But you had to say something about the fact that at some point in time, the models are going to start going down. And then number 10, it said the goal of the vaccine is to eradicate the virus. Will the vaccine ever meet this goal? And I'm not sure if you didn't know what the word eradicate meant or you just didn't read the question very carefully. But no, the vaccine will not eradicate COVID. I mean, I took the vaccine. I'm sort of a proponent for the vaccine. I totally understand why people would not take it, but I did. It's not going to eradicate COVID, people. Just like we haven't eradicated polio or the measles or chickenpox or the mumps, COVID will never go away. Several reasons. Number one, everybody's not going to take the vaccine. Most of y'all are not taking the vaccine. We know that. That's fine. Number two, even if you take the vaccine, like myself, it's not 100% effective. There are issues with the vaccine, so it's not going to be 100% eradicating the situation. And then the third reason is that we know that there are new strains coming up every day. So COVID is not going to be eradicated. Quite a few of you said that it would be. That is not true. I mean, that's just scientifically incorrect. It's not an opinion. It's just a fact. COVID will not ever be eradicated. Okay? It's going to get better. It's going to decrease. It's going to get lower and lower possibly over time, but it will never be eradicated. Okay, moving on. Let's move on. I know you're sick of hearing about COVID, and I'll try not to bring it up anymore. Last week, you finished 2 labs. One was just asking you to read a situation and tell if it was linear or exponential, and then the questions that would let you know that, and also whether it's an increasing or decreasing situation. The other lab was pretty extensive. That's the one that I gave the video for to help you along. So I hope you watch the video. And to be perfectly honest, this is our last week of labs. I don't plan on having any more labs. We're going to have some exam review. We're going to have a quiz, and we're going to have a final exam. But I don't plan on giving you any more labs. So that was a tough one. I know it was kind of long, but you're done with labs unless I drastically change my mind. Let's see what else. On the COVID discussion board, I'm not even sure which week this was. A couple things that I thought were really interesting. Candy Wilkes talked about her children being on virtual school and how hard that had been, and several people echoed that. And I'll be honest, my children have been in school face to face, and I'm so thankful for that opportunity. But I cannot fathom how hard that is to have children virtual at home and you're trying to work. Hats off to all of you parents that have been doing that. And also on the flip side, a lot of you are students that said your senior year in high school has been completely messed up. And so if you're learning virtual in any capacity, or if you were supervising anyone, a sibling, yourself, a child, God bless you. It's been a really, really difficult time. Alyssa talked about she had developed, one of her positives was she had developed some new hobbies. And I think that was a great point. I said earlier, I don't really know of myself developing any new hobbies, but my daughter picked up baking, and I just think that was a really good point. I think a lot of us did pick up new hobbies. And then lastly, I think I know who posted this, but I'm not going to say her name. But somebody mentioned hair salons and not being able to get her hair done during COVID. And that was one of her top 3 hardships. And I love that because number one, it's super honest. Number two, it absolutely made me laugh because I don't color my hair. You probably see some grays in there right now. So I'm pretty low maintenance with my hair. It wasn't a big deal to me. But my friends that dye their hair, wow, it was rough. And it made me laugh. So I appreciate your honesty. Like I said, I think I know who posted that, but I'm not going to say her name. I'm sure some of you sympathize. I thought that was a really good point. Let's see. This week we're on week 10. Okay, this class is wrapping up, so we don't have a lot of time left. We have 14 weeks, and we're in week 10. So we've got a quiz, we've got exam review, and we've got a final exam. The final exam will be proctored. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there. The next quiz is not proctored. You've got this week a Chapter 5 review. Chapter 5 is your linear and exponential, so you've already done the Hawk sections on that. And you also have a quiz. Again, this is not a proctored quiz. If you will please read what I've got stated on there, you need to take the quiz yourself. You individually need to take that quiz. But you can use the resources that I have provided. And it's not proctored. And in addition, I believe this is the week that we have a discussion post on... No, that's next week. Next week. Let me save that thought. That's coming up in week 11. So anyway, have a good week. If you have any problems, have any issues, reach out to me. I really implore you, if your grade is not where you want it to be, it is time to put the pedal to the metal and really give it this extra mile for these next few weeks, because we're almost finished and you just cannot afford to be sloppy on any of your assignments. So if you've got an A and you're happy with that, keep up the great work. But if you don't and you're not quite happy with where your grade is, you really need to push through these next few weeks and do the best you can. So I'll see you soon. Have a good week.